So hello everyone. In today's class, I would like to explain MT-CMOS approach. So already in the last class we seen VT-CMOS approach, variable threshold complementary metal oxide semiconductor approach. So in today's class, we have to learn what is multiple threshold complementary metal oxide semiconductor approach. So this type of technique is introduced by Mutot and his colleagues introduced the MT-CMOS approach to implement high speed and low power circuits operating from a 1 volt power supply. So the Cambridge professor Mutot and his colleagues introduced the MT-CMOS approach. So that will be uh, this approach is used to implement a high speed and low power circuits operating from 1 volt power supply operating from 1 volt power supply. So in this approach, MOSFETs with two different threshold voltages are used in a single chip. So mainly in this MT-CMOS approach, so whatever we have MOSFETs, MOS devices, with the two different threshold voltages are used in a single chip. So whatever we are used those transistors within the design, so that design the design has to takes place that will be operated with two different threshold voltages. So those are the threshold voltages are used in a single chip. So it uses mainly two operational modes. One is the active and the sleep for efficient power management. So whatever we use two threshold voltages in multiple threshold complementary metal oxide semiconductor approach. So in this approach, mainly that these two threshold voltages are used for two modes. Those modes are nothing but one is the active mode and another one is the sleep mode for efficient power management. So here whatever you are seeing in this PPT, that is in figure 90.9.9. So that figure indicates the basic MT-CMOS structure. So the basic MT-CMOS structure. So in this structure we have to see that the resultant transistor diagram. So that is for a two input NAND gate, So whatever we have implemented a two input NAND gate under CMOS technology. So that CMOS transistor, the two p type transistors will be connected in parallel manner, and the remaining n type transistors will be connected in a series manner. And at the VDD side, that will be connected to a p type transistor. So that will input will be given to uh, low input, that means SL, and that means SL is nothing but sleep, that will indicates the sleep mode, sleep control signals. SL is nothing but sleep control signals. And in the ground part or VSS part, that will be connected to NMOS transistor. So whatever the design we use under MT-CMOS, so that will be operated with multiple threshold voltages. So those devices will operated with multiple. So to operate multiple threshold voltages, so we are connected in upper part, we have connected a PMOS transistor to VDD, and in the below part we are connected NMOS transistor to the ground. So that will be indicated as a two input NAND gate. So it one end we are connected to VDD holes, and another one is other end we are connected to ground holes. And so that will be connected to CV1 and the CV2 uh, capacitors. That means it is also control the voltage levels. This capacitor is also controlling the voltage levels, so voltage 1 and the voltage 2. Voltage 2. So this is the basic structure of empty CMOS. So this will realize a two-input NAND gate, so that the CMOS logic gate is realized with the whatever we have to use the transistors in this realization or in this design. So that will be the transistors, they have low threshold voltage. So this whatever the transistors we are used, it may be PMOS transistor and NMOS transistor. So that threshold voltage is around, that will be in terms of 0.2 volts to 0.3 volts. So in this logic gate is realized with the transistors of low threshold voltages of about 0.2 to 0.3 volts. So instead of connecting the power terminal lines of the gate, so directly to the power supply lines VDD and ground. So here we are connecting power terminal lines of the gate directly to the power lines of VDD and the ground terminals. So we here we have to connect a virtual power supply lines. So those is nothing but VDDV and the ground that will be denoted, the power virtual lines. Power virtual lines will be denoted with VDDV and the ground voltage. VDDV and ground voltage. So the real and virtual power supplies are linked by the MOS transistors. So these real power lines and the virtual power lines, supply lines are uh, linked with the MOS transistor. That is nothing but Q1 and the Q2. So these two lines are connected with different type of transistor. That is a sleep type of transistor. Those transistor name it as Q1 and Q1 and Q2, Q1 and Q2. So these transistors have a high threshold voltage in the range zero point 0.5 to zero point 0.6 volts. So in case in between, so the internally whatever we connected P-type transistors and N-type transistor, so there the threshold voltage is about from 0.2 to 0.3 volts. But the external sleep mode, whatever for the power lines we are connected these virtual transistors. So those threshold voltage will be in the range of zero point 0.5 to zero point 0.6, and they these virtual transistor will serves as a sleep control transistor. So the sleep control signals are nothing but SL and SL bar are connected to Q1. So this SL and SL bar will be connected to Q1 and Q2 transistors, and these mainly these signals are used for active or sleep mode control. So in the active mode, so in case if you want to turn the transistor in active mode, so at the time when the SL is set to low, SL is set to low. That means if the SL is 0, SL bar is nothing but 1. SL bar, that means inverting input will be applied to the ground terminal transistors. So SL is connected to SL is for active mode, SL is equal to low input 0. So for 0 condition, the p-type transistor will be non-condition. For SL bar 1 means whenever we are giving to high input to the NMOS, that means NMOS transistor, so that will be in non-condition. So that will be entire circuit will be on for the active mode of operation. So in the active mode, when the SL is set to low, the both Q1 and Q2 are turned on. So that will be connecting the real power lines to VDDV and ground V. So in this mode, the NAND gate operates at a high speed corresponding to the lower threshold voltage of 0.2 volts, which is relatively low compared to the supply voltage of 1.1 volt. So in the sleep mode, SL is set to high to turn both Q1 and Q2 off, so thereby isolating the real supply lines from VDD V and ground V. So as the sleep transistors have a high threshold voltage, 0.6 volts, the leakage current flowing through these transistors will be significantly smaller in this mode. So here our concept is main, we have to provide the multiple threshold voltage. So that multiple threshold voltages will be provided by two different lines, that is real power lines and the virtual power lines. So in the active mode, so that will be connected both the real and virtual power load. So in the sleep mode, so only that will be given the power to these transistors from the real lines. So due to varying of these power lines, so the threshold voltage is also varies. The threshold voltage is also varies. So by varying this threshold voltages, so this transistor does not introduce the leakage power, does not introduce the leakage power. So to implement that concept, so we are operating the circuit in active mode and the sleep mode. Active mode and the sleep mode. So yeah, this will be whatever, thereby isolating the real supply lines from VDD and ground, with the leakage current flowing through these two transistors will be significantly smaller in this mode. So the leakage power consumption during the standby period can be dramatically reduced by sleep control. So that whatever we have to approach, we are perform this type of approach. So the delay of empty CMOS NAND gate as a function of supply voltage, so is compared with respect to conventional full IVT and full low VT logic gate. So it is demonstrated that the delay of the empty CMOS gate is much smaller than that of the conventional CMOS gate with high threshold voltage, and it is very close to the conventional CMOS with the low threshold voltage realization. So with a power supply voltage of 1 volts, the empty CMOS gate delay, the time is reduced by 70% compared with the conventional CMOS gate with high VT. So therefore, the supply voltage depends uh, of this type of approach, that is multiple threshold complementary metal oxide semiconductor approach. So the power utilization will be, so completely reduces in this approach. So the mass this empty CMOS gate delay is much smaller than that of conventional CMOS gate with a high threshold voltage. So and the empty CMOS gate operates as fast as the full low threshold voltage gate. So the based on the variation of normalized power delay product. So this normalized power delay product we can also represent in short form as NPDP. NPDP with the supply voltage. Whenever we are comparing the supply voltage, that is real and virtual power lines, the power consumption is normalized by its frequency. So at low voltage, for example, we can consider a low threshold voltage that is approximately at 1 volt. So this normalized power delay product of the empty CMOS gate is much lower than that of the conventional high threshold voltage gates. So that will be reflecting the improved speed performance at lower voltage. So whatever when we are comparing these voltages in a power curve, so that is also shows that the power reduction effect is proportional to the square of the supply voltage. So the supply voltage overcoming speed degradation in a low voltage operation. So it is also claimed that the standby current is reduced by 3 or 4 orders of magnitude due to sleep control. So whenever we are operating this transistor under the active mode and the sleep control, so we are reducing that is the current, the utilization of the current is reduced by 3 or 4 orders of magnitude due to sleep control. Due to we are controlling the sleep mode as well as we are controlling the active mode of the circuit. So here we have another factors that affect the speed performance of this empty CMOS circuit are so the width of the sleep control transistors and the capacitance of the virtual power line. So the sleep transistor should have their widths large enough so that the on resistance are small. So it has been established by simulation that we're having different type of effective and the degradation in gate delay time. So the area is also the area of for this required chip area is also small because this is shared by all logic gates chip on a chip. So the main advantage of this empty CMOS circuit is that so it can be easily implemented using existing circuits. So this empty CMOS will be we can easily implemented with help of the existing circuit without any modification of the cell library. So without we cannot change any position or terminals of any transistor for any transistor. So that will be so without modification of the cell library, without modification of the cell library. So we can easily implement this multiple threshold complementary metal oxide semiconductor cell. So, but the MTCMOS approach suffers from the some disadvantage that only the standby power is reduced and the large inserted sleep transistor increase both area and delay. So, some of the problems are overcome in the dual VT approach presented in the following section. So we have to use some the standby power is reduced and large inserted sleep transistors increasing the both area and area and the delay. So this will be overcome by using dual VT approach. So that is nothing but we have to use some of the power gating techniques to maintain for real supply lines and the virtual supply lines and the virtual supply lines. So here we see another concept what is meant by a power gating circuit to minimize the leakage power, to minimize the leakage power. That is nothing but the basic approach of the empty CMOS implementation. This, the empty CMOS implementation has been generalized and extended in the name of power management, power gating. So here the basic strategy is to provide two power modes: an active mode, which is the normal operating mode of the circuit, and low power mode when the circuit is not in use. The low power mode is commonly termed as a sleep mode. At an appropriate time, the circuit switches from one mode to the other in an appropriate manner, so such that the energy drawn from the power source is maximized with maximum or no impact on the performance. So here in this approach, the basic approach of MTCMOS implementation has been generalized and extended in the name of power management. So that same MTCMOS approach will be extended. The approach is used for to manage the power or for power gating. The basic strategy is to provide two power modes. So one is an active mode, which is the normal operating mode of the circuit, and low power mode when the circuit is not in use. So the low power mode is commonly termed as sleep mode. At an appropriate time, the circuit switches from one mode to the other in an appropriate manner, such that the energy drawn from the power source is maximized with minimum or no impact on the performance. So this clock, we have to see the difference between this clock gating versus power gating circuits. So the use of the clock gating approach for the reduction of switching power. So here the typical activity profile for a subsystem using a clock uh, subsystem using a clock gating strategy is seen in this figure. So as shown in the figure, no dynamic power dissipation takes place when the circuit is clock gated. So therefore, leakage power dissipation takes place when the circuit is clock gated. So in the early generation of CMOS circuits, the leakage power was an insignificant portion of the total power. So the power dissipation of a clock gated subsystem was negligible. So however, the leakage power has grown with every generation of CMOS process technology, and it is essential to use power gating to reduce the leakage power when the circuit is not in use. So the activity profile for the same subsystem using a power gating strategy in the below figure. So this power gating can be implemented by inserting power gating transistors in the stack between the logic transistors and either power or ground. So the this creating a virtual supply rail or virtual ground rail respectively. The logic block contains all low uh, threshold transistor for fastest switching speeds, while the switch transistors header or footer are built using high threshold transistors to minimize the leakage power. Power gating can be implemented without using multiple thresholds, but will not reduce leakage as much as if implemented with multiple thresholds. So this empty CMOS refers to the use of transistors with multiple threshold voltages in power gating circuit. So the most common implementations of power gating use a footer switch alone to limit the switch area overhead. So this is also implemented for high threshold circuits, that is high threshold NMOS footer switches are about half the size of equivalent resistance. High threshold PMOS header switches due to differences in majority carrier mobilities. So power gating reduces leakage by reducing the gate to source voltage, which in turn drives the logic transistors. Those are deeper into cutoff region. So this occurs because of the stack effect. The source terminal of the bottom most transistor in the logic stack is no longer at ground, but rather at a voltage somewhat above. This type of devices that will be operated under different mode of categories. Those are nothing but bottommost transistor in the logic stack is no longer at ground, but rather at a voltage somewhat above ground due to the presence of the power gating transistor. So therefore, finally, that will be leakage is reduced due to the reduction of the VC. Yes, reduction of the. So this power gating has some of the issues to operate effectively. That will be consist the control signals will be consist power gating controller and the power switching fabric materials and the power gated functional block. So that will be processed through ISO, that means Incident International Standard Organization, and that will be works always as a functional block. So this will be the all functionalities will be performed on a system on chip or SoC chip. So it will be performed all the functionalities on a SoC chip. So this the clock gating approach we have discussed earlier, but It does not affect the functionality of the circuit and does not require changes in the resistor transistor logic representation. But the power gating is much more invasive because as well as we shall see later, it affects interblock interfaces and introduce significant time delays in order to safely enter and exit power gated modes. So the most basic form of power gating control and the one with the lowest long-term leakage power is an externally switched power supply. So an example is an on-chip CPU that has a dedicated off-chip power supply, that is the supply provides power only to the CPU. So we can say we have to shut down this power supply and reduce the leakage in the CPU to essentially zero. So this approach that is also takes the longest time and requires the most energy to restore power to a gated block. So this internal power gating, where internal switches are used to control power to selected blocks, so is a better solution when the blocks have to be powered down for time shorter periods of time. So that will be implemented on a system on chip that uses internal power gating. So unlike a block that is always powered on, the power gated block receives its power through a power switching network. So this network switches either a VDD or VSS to the power gated block. In this type of circuits, VDD is switched and VSS is provided directly to the entire chip. The switching fabric typically consists of a large number of CMOS switches distributed around or within the power gated block. So various issues involved in the design of power gate circuits are listed below. That is nothing but power gating granularity, power gating topologies, and the switching fabric design, isolation strategy, retention strategy, power gating control design. So controlling these issues, so we can effectively operate the circuits in a different manner of power power management for different power management circuits. So we have to operate these circuits with a effective effective manner. So this is about we are using different type of techniques to control the leakage power or to minimize the leakage power. So this is about this is the end of our power management topics. Thank you for everyone.